Good morning, students. Today we are going to do our third chapter, Glimpses of the Past. Before you read, we used to tell you here are some pictorial glimpses of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857. These pictures and speech bubbles will help you clarify your understanding of the conditions that led to the event known as the First War of Independence in 1857. So before 1857, around hundreds of years, it took to arouse the people all over India for that revolution that we very well know as the First War of Independence. The martyrs at a function in Delhi. This is Lata Mangeshkar singing, "Oh my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of India's martyrs." You can see in the picture our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, our first President, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, along with Mrs. Indira Gandhi are sitting. And here are some pictures of the heroes of our independence. That means our great freedom fighters. You can see the picture of Lakshmi Bai, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bhagat Singh, and so on. So this very picture depicts in which Lata Mangeshkar is singing, "ऐ मेरे वतन के लोगों, लेट योर आइज फिल विद टीयर्स, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी, दैट मीन्स द मार्टियर्स, जरा याद करो कुर्बानी." दिस पिक्चर is taken around some 1962 after the war with China, Indo-China war. So this is just a thing that tells us about the chapter that we are talking about the martyrs of independence. Now the country's conquests. The company's conquest, company British East India Company from 1757 to 1849. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extended its power in 18th century India. See, you can see in 1765 the map of India shows yellow color, it depicts Indian princes. That means this area of yellow color shows that it was ruled by Indian princes, and the pink color, that is quite small, depicts the British territory. Now, Indian princes were short-sighted. That upstart Rajaba called the English merchants, "They will help me to defeat him." The people had no peace due to such constant fights. See, India was divided among very, very small provinces, states, and the rulers from those states or provinces used to fight between themselves, and they took help of English merchants, the Britishers. Take help, weapons and power also. They don't even realize that in the meantime those Britishers would take over all India. The rivalries helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. A far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. There were some rulers, some patriots also, who knew the practice of Britishers, but nobody listened to them at that time. Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. It is God who sent British. Our destiny is linked with them. How did Indians react to these conquests? Some of the Indians said that yes, God has sent those Britishers to help us to save our country. While the other says the white man has killed or dethroned our kings. They have taken over their kingdom. Some kings were not good, but after all they were of this land. Now we have to become slaves of foreigners. So both kind of people were there at that time. Now The British ruled during 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached India ideas like untouchability and child marriage. At that time, Britishers were ready to take our country. At the same time, some of the religious leaders who were short-sighted, they used to preach people about untouchability, child marriage. They used to say anyone who crosses the seas loses his religion. That means one who goes out for business, trade, or for education, they would just spoil their religion. All the misery in the world is due to women. Some of them say that women are the cause of miseries. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. True your honor, but I am honest. See, you can see a man standing with folding hands. The Britishers are talking with each other that the natives of this country, India, are not trustworthy, they are not honest, and at the same time this Indian person with folded hands saying, yes, you are true, Indians are not capable, they are unworthy, but I am your slave, I will do honesty. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profits. They levied heavy taxes, forced farmers to abandon their fields. But your men are taking all my crop. You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. Now they were subduing Indian farmers. They were levying heavy taxes on them. They couldn't pay the taxes to these Britishers. So they said, we will send you to jail. They are taking the entire crop. So how can they submit the taxes when they don't have any earning? Then came reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai. This was the era of 1772 to 1833. Ram Mohan Roy, a learned man from Bengal, understood that what was wrong with the country. He says, let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. He knew what was the problem with Indian society. He says that Indian culture is quite deep rooted. It is very good, but the superstitions are worsening it. Now he told his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. So different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. That means truth and equality. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. He says knowledge should be practical and scientific. He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them, we accept you as rulers and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects. He went to England, he tell the Britishers that yes, okay, fine if you want to rule us, but you must know the duties of a ruler. Then came the era of oppression. 1765 to 1835. But the British continued oppress Indians in 1888. They had passed Regulation 3rd. What was Regulation 3rd? Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in court. See how they were behaving in India with Indians. All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries, also made fortunes in private business. See, the British Kingdom had sent these officers to India. Here, they were getting big salaries from England, from the British government, as well as they were making huge profits in their own private business, which they started in India. By 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. Governor General Bentinck reported the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. That means we are sucking up the poor Indian peasants, the farmers. See, you can see their condition, their plight. Now aroused dissatisfaction around 1835 to 56. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit language. So in 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. He said, we should teach the natives through the English language. He proposed English language. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs, very small jobs. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. We must educate our brothers. Some of them became their slaves, and others who got education says that we must educate our other brothers and try to improve our conditions. For that, we must convey our grievance to British Parliament. So they said that we should arise our voice in British government. See, you can see the map now. By 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. Now you can see the yellow color and the pink color. You can see the difference. They cared little about the needs of Indians. Now Indians were getting awakened. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our jobs and lands. They are converting our brothers also. You only talk, do something to drive them out. Now the uproot have started. The sparks. The spark of this revolution of 1857 started. Taxes continued to ruin the peasants. In Bengal, the Santals, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. In 1855, they rose the rebellion and massacred Europeans and their supporters. Now it has started, you can see. Discontent was brewing in East India Company's army too. The white soldiers were getting huge pays and mansions to live, while we get pittance, very small salary and slow promotions. The Angrez ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religions, and who is the topiwala to abolish our age-old customs? Mangal Pandey attacked the adjutant of the regiment and was executed. Thousands of other sepoys revolted and they were stripped of their uniform. That means the soldiers who revolted were stripped of their uniforms. They were thrown out of the army. Few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian customs. O proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease of the bullets you have to bite is made from fat of pigs and cows? What? The white men had deceived us too. Now, this has led arouse to a discomfort between the Brahmins, the Hindus, as well as in the Muslim soldiers. Soon chapatis were sent from village to village to tell people what their emperor would want their service. See, you can see that one person is handing over chapatis to the other. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Now these chapatis were acting as a message from the rulers to the common people. The rulers were sending message, the emperor was sending message that we want to do a revolt, and this man, you can see with moustache, that yes, the entire village men are ready to revolt against the Britishers. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers. Death to the foreigners. The way in which the chapatis were being circulated, soldiers were circulating lotus flowers. Lotus is our national flower. It is a symbol of India, you can see. Now, revolt of 1857. Then there was a violent outbreak in Meerut. So, Meerut, Kant became the first thing. The sepoy marched to Delhi. You can see this is the kingdom of the last Mughal emperor. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah Jafar, you must be knowing, was the last Mughal emperor in India. He was a nationalist. He wanted to save India from the hands of Britishers. So he also took part. The rebellion spread wider. You can see the pictures. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies. What? The white man rule must end. Yes, we will help you. The fight for freedom. Now, who are the freedom fighters? Many former rulers like Begum Hajrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom.